In my previous video, I uploaded a tutorial on how to cut this underbust corset with Keyhole neckline top, and I mentioned that in my next video I'm going to be uploading how to stitch it together step by step. So in this video, we'll be learning how to sew this top together step by step. If you've not seen the cutting tutorial, you should check it out. I'll be putting the link in the description box and also hop on this video so that you understand better where I am coming from. I also made a detailed video on how to cut and sew this high waist slitted skirt as well. I'll also be putting the link in the description box. So without talking too much, let us jump right into the video. So right here are our panels, and this is the front panel. This is what it looks like after cutting, and I arranged them together. You can see the keyhole neckline and the underbust corset. Then I proceeded to cutting lining for the panels. I attached interfacing on the main fabric and also on the lining. So the first thing to do is I'm going to be attaching one side to the middle and then the other side to the middle on the left and on the right. And then I'll be turning the keyhole neckline. That's the only place I will turn. For the back, I went ahead to cut lining as well. I added interfacing to the main fabric, which is the black crepe, and also to the lining. So that is it for the back for now. I'll keep that aside, and then I'll pick up my front panels that have been attached together and start marking where my bony is going to be. So this is the front panel that I've attached together. I attached the main fabric and then I attached the lining. And for the underbust corset, I used the chantilly lace to turn the crepe on the keyhole neckline side, and then I matched every other side together. So I turned the keyhole neckline and then I matched every other place together. I matched the chantilly lace on the crepe. Then going back to the back, for the yoke at the back, I turned just where my finger is running across. Those two parts, my fingers are running across, and then I matched every other place. So now to mark where my bony is going to be, my bony is going to start from 1 inch before, like you measure 1 inch from the part where you're going to be joining the underbust corset to the rest of your piece. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. And at the lower part of the top is going to be 1.5 inch short. So I marked all the places I want it to be. I want it to be at the middle, on each joining, and then on the side. But the one on the side is going to be curved. You can see my marking. So I proceeded to sewing my boning on this. And guys, this is the lining. I attached my boning on the lining. I did not attach any boning on the main fabric. I attached every boning on the lining. So you can see the main fabric. I did not attach any boning to it. So the next thing to do after this is to pick up. I also went ahead to sew that on the underbust corset. I used 3 inches. So I'm going to be attaching the underbust corset to the main fabric. Please make sure that the dart is like directly facing the joining, like directly on the joining, before you sew the underbust corset on the rest of the piece. So you are going to be sewing that part my finger is running across. I'll be joining those two parts together, and after sewing, this is what it looks like. Then the midpoint of the neckline that I tacked, it is not necessary yet. You are still going to lose it. So that point where my finger is pointing at, I deliberately left it like that so that I can use it to turn, like I can use it to turn that part where I joined the underbust corset to the rest of the piece. Hope you guys get what I'm saying. So make sure you leave like that 1/2 inch like that. So the next thing to do is to turn this, and to turn this we need to lose that midpoint that I joined, that I tacked, so that it will be easy, because if you don't lose it, it won't be that easy. So you are still going to lose that, or you don't tack at all. Just join the underbust corset to the rest of the corset and to the rest of your piece, to the rest of your top, and leave that midpoint untacked. So after turning with lining, I turned the side as well, and this is what my front panel is looking like at this point. I didn't turn it down. The down is the only place you're not going to turn yet at this point. So the next thing to do after this is I can now tack the midpoint. As you can see, I've tacked the midpoint for the neckline. And that is it for the front panel. You keep that aside. For the back panel now, you are going to be marking where you want your body to be on the back as well. This is also the lining for the back. So I'm going to be marking the line where the bony is going to be 1 inch lower than the up, and then at the down is going to be 1.5 inch short. I'm leaving all these inches because of turning and piping the down and all of that. So for the back, I'm going to be attaching just one line of the bony on the back, although I want 3 lines in total. For the rest, after I'm done turning the main fabric with the lining, I'm going to be creating channel and then inserting the bony inside. So what I did next was to attach the yoke to the main fabric for the back, and then I'm going to be turning this with my lining. So I'll be turning the part where I joined the yoke to the lower part of the top, and then I'll be turning the two sides. That's the side shaping side and the opposite of it. I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. So I did that to the two panels for the back, and this is what it looks like at this point. The next thing is to join my shoulder line. So I'm just going to be joining my shoulder line straight because I didn't cut lining for the yoke and then for the under bust corset. So I'm not going to be turning the shoulder line because there's no lining to turn it. But if you want to, you can cut lining when you were cutting your under bust corset and your yoke, so that you can use it to turn it, so that your shoulder line, the joining is not just going to be exposed like that. But for me, I did not. I just joined it directly and I proceeded to shaping. For shaping, I used just 1 inch to shape because when I was cutting, I added 1.5 inch allowance and I used half inch to turn the sides. So I just used 1 inch to shape. Then the next thing after this is to cut the turtleneck. I'll be putting my neckline together. I'll fold it into two and then I'll measure round. Here I measured 7.5 times 2 gives me 15. I'll keep that aside and then I proceeded to cutting the sleeve. Not really a serious sleeve, it's just bell sleeve. I cut a pencil sleeve with bell from like the 3/4 length. I just made the 3/4 from the 3/4 length. I made it free. It's not really a serious sleeve. It's not something difficult to achieve. Then I proceeded to fixing this sleeve on my top. For the turtleneck, I folded my fabric on bias just like I've seen, and then I'll be cutting for the two. I mean the one that will serve as the main fabric and the lining. Now I'll be using this lace to turn the lace. So one has to be the main fabric, and then the other one will be serving as the line. What I measured was 15, but I cut 17 here because I used 1 inch to turn, 1 inch on both sides to turn the collar before attaching it on the top. So, and I made the length 2.5 inch long, 17 inches, 2.5 inches wide, 17 inches long. So I'm going to be turning the upper part. I will turn the two sides and then I'll be attaching it round the neckline on the lower part of the collar or the turtleneck. When I was done doing all of this is what my top came out looking like. Thank you so much for watching from the beginning till this point. If you found this video helpful or interesting, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. And in case you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.